Hi, welcome back, guys. This is your friend the Momo Fanfics back with amazing fanfiction. This series of What If Naruto is ranked criminals transferred to world full of quirks. Pain Sama, a voice pierced through the veil of unconsciousness, drawing him back to reality. Pain Sama, wake up. Pain. Slowly, the ginger-haired man peeled open his heavy eyelids, greeted by the sight of Conan's panicked expression. He groggily shifted his gaze to her, his head throbbing with dull pain. Conan, what happened? Pain rasped, his voice rough from disuse as he pushed himself into a sitting position, taking in their forest surroundings. I don't know. I woke up about 10 minutes ago and found you unconscious, Conan replied, her voice tinged with concern. Pain scanned himself, noting the telltale red clouds adorning his black cloak. With a heavy sigh, he surveyed their surroundings. Do you know if anyone else is here with us? Your 6 paths are present, but other than that, I haven't found anyone else, Conan responded, her gaze flickering to the 6 figures standing amongst the trees, their Rinnegan eyes casting an eerie glow. Pain's brow furrowed as he pondered their situation. Conan, he turned to his companion. Do you have any idea where we are? I'm afraid not, she admitted, her voice tinged with uncertainty. Before they could further contemplate their predicament, a voice disrupted the silence, drawing their attention to a figure perched upon a nearby tree branch. Well now, I didn't expect you two to be here too. Conan and Pain exchanged wary glances before finally noticing the man with the distinctive orange mask. They rose to their feet, slipping into defensive stances. Hey now, is that any way to treat Tobai? The masked man quipped, his tone light, but tinged with an underlying darkness. You shouldn't bite the hand that saved you. What are you doing here? Pain demanded, his voice laced with suspicion. I woke up here just like you did, Pain. I thought perhaps the 3 of us could catch up, Tobai replied, his tone taking on a darker edge. Where the hell am I? Deidara muttered, his voice echoing through the darkened city streets as he cast a wary glance at the moon above. At least I'm still alive, I guess, he mumbled to himself, his steps echoing against the pavement as he wandered aimlessly. It wasn't long before he stumbled upon a sign that read Musatafu Park. He walked down the path and into the park, his mind swirling with questions. Okay, think. What's the last thing you remember before waking up? Deidara asked himself, closing his eyes in concentration. So, you're here too. The unexpected voice sent a jolt of surprise through Deidara's frame, causing him to topple off the bench in shock. His eyes widened as he found himself face to face with a pair of piercing red Sharingan eyes, glaring down at him with undisguised animosity. Out of everyone in the world, I had to be stuck with you, Deidara spat, his contempt for the Uchiha evident in his tone as he glared up at Itachi Uchiha, who stood stoically upon a nearby tree branch. Ignoring Deidara's ire, Itachi simply closed his eyes, deactivating his Sharingan before beckoning for Deidara to follow. Come on, Itachi said, leaping down from the branch and striding towards the park's exit. Hey, where are you going? You obviously have no clue where we are, Deidara exclaimed, hurrying to catch up with Itachi. And if you're thinking that other members are here too, how can you be so sure, Itachi remained silent, his gaze fixed ahead as he continued to scan their surroundings, much to Deidara's frustration. Teeth gritted, Deidara fought to contain his mounting irritation, a visible tick mark forming on his forehead. The least you can do is answer me, because we're both dead, Itachi interjected calmly, cutting through Deidara's tirade. What? Deidara's anger dissipated in an instant, replaced by bewilderment. When I died, there were only 5 Akatsuki members left. When me and all the other members were reanimated by Kabuto's reanimation jutsu. What does that mean, then? Deidara interjected, his impatience palpable. It means that since we're both here and we're dead, there's a high chance that all the other members are here too, since, well, they're also dead. Itachi explained calmly, his demeanor unwavering as they walked. I knew that, Deidara huffed, his pride getting the best of him. Please help me, please. The sudden cry for help shattered the tense atmosphere, drawing their attention to a figure sprinting towards them. But before they could react, a crimson scythe cleaved through the air, drenching them in a spray of blood. Ha ha ha, that's what you get for trying to pickpocket me, you fat fuck. A familiar voice echoed through the night, prompting Deidara to shoot a scowl in the direction of the source. Well, at least we know that idiot is here, Deidara muttered, his gaze lingering on Hidden with undisguised irritation as Itachi calmly wiped the blood from his face. Hey, guys, long time no see, Hidden greeted them with a grin, his presence doing little to ease the tension in the air. Thanks for getting blood all over me, appreciate it, Deidara quipped sarcastically, wiping the blood onto the side of a nearby wall. Had to get a new sacrifice for Jashin since I'm his favorite follower, Hidden boasted proudly, his eyes gleaming with fanatic zeal as he retrieved his three-pointed scythe from the unfortunate victim's body. Probably because you're the only one, Deidara muttered under his breath, earning a scowl from Hidden. You want to die too, Blondie? Hidden growled, his gaze narrowing dangerously. Sure, I've got some anger I want to dish out, training dummy, Deidara retorted, his hands instinctively reaching for his clay pouch. You guys talk really loud. I could hear you like 2 blocks away, you interjected, drawing their attention as you emerged from an alleyway. You're here too? Deidara and Hidden chorused in unison, their surprise evident as they regarded the newcomer. No shit, Sherlock, you say, Itachi deadpanned, his gaze shifting between the three of you. Is anyone else with you too? Deidara inquired, his curiosity piqued. Nope, you replied, popping the pea as you rock on your toes and heels. No, I woke up like 10 minutes ago. Or was it 20? Hidden chimed in, scratching his chin in contemplation. Idiot, the three of them thought in unison, exchanging exasperated glances. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the night. The group of you leaped atop the nearest building and sprinted towards the source of the explosion. I never thought I'd see you again, Sasori remarked, his tone laced with surprise as he locked eyes with Kakuzu. I'm surprised that's your real body, Kakuzu retorted, his expression unreadable. Funny, Sasori replied dryly. The two stood on a desolate beach, the distant silhouette of a modern city looming in the background. Trash littered the shoreline, eliciting expressions of disgust from both of them. Come on, let's see if we can find some information on where we are, Sasori suggested, already striding towards the towering buildings ahead. We wait, Kakuzu interjected, his arms crossed as he gazed out at the ocean. Sasori halted in his tracks, shooting a glare at Kakuzu. Who died and made you leader? He snapped, irritation evident in his voice. I'm deciding our next move, and that's waiting for Pain-sama or anyone else to find us, Kakuzu replied, his tone firm. Are you two done? The sudden interruption drew their attention to Zetsu and Kisame approaching from the left. Oh, come on. I wanted to see them fight it out, Kisame chimed in, his grin never faltering. What did I say? Kakuzu remarked to Sasori, who simply rolled his eyes before striding over to meet the others halfway. Do you have any idea where we are? Sasori inquired, stopping in front of them. No idea yet. We just woke up about 30 minutes ago. Kisame sensed your chakra signature from Samhata, and we followed it here, White Zetsu explained. So, what do we do now? Sasori pressed, his gaze flicking between the group. We find the others, Black Zetsu asserted, focusing his chakra to sense the presence of their comrades. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed from behind the city. I guess we've already found them, Kisame remarked, a grin spreading across his face. I'll meet you there, Zetsu announced, morphing into the ground. With a nod of acknowledgement, the remaining trio sprinted in the direction of the noise. So you're saying we've been reanimated into another world, but we retain control over our minds, Conan stated, her gaze still fixed on the man behind the mask. Correct, came the terse reply. And no one here has chakra? Pain inquired, his mind already racing to formulate a plan. Based on the 10 minutes I spent surveying the nearby village, or whatever you call something as big as this place is, it appears that chakra is non-existent here, the masked man confirmed. This is unbelievable, Conan let out a sigh, frustration evident in her voice as she grappled with the reality of their situation. What he says is true. I conducted a brief reconnaissance for about an hour before joining you, Orochimaru interjected, stepping out from behind a cluster of trees with a sly grin on his face. The trio shot him a collective glare. Orochimaru, how are you here? Pain demanded, his tone laced with suspicion. Aren't we all wondering how we're here? Zetsu interjected, emerging from the ground with an air of nonchalance. Zetsu? Conan's eyebrows shot up in surprise at the unexpected appearance. Hello. The others are on their way to Sasori, Kakuzu, and Kisame, but they're traveling by foot, White Zetsu informed them, fully emerging from the earth. We also sensed Deidara, hidden in, and Itachi making their way over. Everyone will be here soon, judging by the explosion that was set off, Black Zetsu chimed in, providing further context. Looks like it was a good idea after all, Pain remarked. Ugh, finally. I was about to blow your head off if I kept having to listen to you rant about Jashin, Deidara says as we approach the clearing. We turn to see Kisame, Kakuzu, and Sasori. The blue man walks up to me and slings an arm over my shoulder. How's my favorite Uchiha? He says with a big grin on his face. I could feel the eye roll Itachi had from behind me. So you three are here as well, Itachi said. It's like one big Akatsuki reunion. Give me a hug, Kakuzu, Hidden said, going over to throw his arms over his partner before Kakuzu extended his arm to punch him in the face. Shut up, was all Kakuzu said as he reattached his arm. And a hello to you too, Hidden said as he got up from the ground, rubbing his chin from the punch as I covered my laugh with a really bad cough. The silver-haired man sent me a glare. Anyways, you guys heard the explosion too, right? Yes, we followed the smoke, and it led here, you said, pointing to the clearing. Well, let's go already. I hate waiting, Sasori said as he went through. As soon as we all walked through the clearing, there was an all-too-familiar yell. Deidara senpai. Oh, for the love of God, not you. Tobai proceeded to jump onto Deidara and give him a hug. Ha 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 ha, I love this guy. Hidden started to laugh his ass off. Itachi, however, was scowling at Tobai while Kisame was grinning, and you were giggling at Deidara on the ground. So all of us are here, it seems. The group of us looked over to the Pain. It appears so, Kakuzu said. So anyone wants to explain how we're still alive and not in hell? Deidara said as he finally got Tobai off him. Orochimaru will explain, Pain said as he appeared. Everyone was in utter shock to say the least. How'd he get here? We can't trust him. He might try to steal information from us. Can I sacrifice him? He definitely needs some serious moisturizer. Now, I'm sure you all have every right to not trust me. Orochimaru says, put his hands in the air. But I honestly want to be back with you all again. Sorry, we're full, Sasori said as he interrupted. Sasori, Pain said as he sent him a stern look, the puppet master scoffing before letting the man talk again. Well, let me explain some things that have happened while you were gone from our world, Orochimaru said as he sat down on a rock. He explained how after Pain and Conan's death, Madara Uchiha took over the Akatsukis. Then the Fourth Great Shinobi War began, with Madara summoning the 10 Tails, and the infinite Tsukuyomi affecting him and everyone else in the ninja world. Uzumaki Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke, and Haruo Sakura saved the world from Kaguya, the goddess of chakra, and who manifested out of Madara. He also said how Naruto and Sasuke had their final battle, the Valley of the End, resulting in both of them losing an arm. The fifth Hokage retired and was succeeded by the sixth, Kakashi Hatake. After 20 years, Naruto became the seventh Hokage, along with others succeeding the previous Kage. Naruto had a son, Boruto, and a daughter, Himawari with Hinata Hyuga, and that Sasuke had a daughter, Sarada, with Sakura Haruno. Orochimaru purposely left out Tobai's real origin for many reasons. Everyone was shocked after Orochimaru finished, some showing it more than others. I can't believe that Brat saved the world. Agreed. I know. You think I can be like him, Deidara, Tobai said, getting right into Deidara's face. Like you can do anything, you idiot, Deidara yelled as he kicked the poor man in the stomach. Itachi was thinking about Sasuke as he closed his eyes and smiled. I'm so happy for you, Sasuke, Itachi thought. So the little wimp finally manned up. Never thought he could be the Mizukage though, Kisame said, still surprised by the information. Deidara, weren't you taught with the current Tsuchikage by the third Tsuchikage? White Zetsu said as he saw Deidara dusting off his robes after Tobai grabbed onto him. I gotta say, I'm quite impressed that the old geezer finally stepped down. Never thought Kuretsuchi would replace him. She can't even do dust release, Deidara said as he closed his eyes and crossed his arms together, a little hint of jealousy in his voice. Can't believe that shadow bastard is still alive, Hidden said as he grit his teeth together. I swear on Jason, if I see him again You'll do what? Get buried in a hole again? Kakuzu interrupted as he looked at Hidden, crossing his arms while talking. Shut the fuck up, Grandpa, Hidden yelled, pulling out his scythe. I feel very left out of these comments, I say, looking around back and forth between the members. I can't believe you've lived this long, Sasori said to Orochimaru. Yay, you're like super old now, right? Like 70. That sounds like a fossil age, I comment, pointing at the snake man with a raised eyebrow. I could see the man's eye twitch before he took a breath and turned his attention to Sasori. Having a jutsu that transfers your soul to a new body does have its benefits, Orochimaru said as he gave a creepy smile. That's enough now, all of you. Everyone stop talking now. Their full attention on Pain. I raise your hand, waving it around well, jumping up from standing behind these tall-ass motherfuckers. Yes, Pain said. We're in some different world thing, aren't we? I ask Orochimaru with a tilt of my head. Yes, how did you figure it out so fast, Orochimaru questioned. Well, first off, I'm just smart unlike most people here. Specifically Deidara and Hidden. Secondly, when we were walking around this very weird village, there wasn't a single trace of chakra anywhere. Even if the population consists of civilians, they would still have the tiniest bit of chakra anywhere, but they don't. You explain, looking down deep in thought as some of the members stare at you, jaw dropped. You're very correct, miss. Good job, the creepy man says, patting your hair before you smack his hand off and run to hide behind Pain. Orochimaru, explain to us this world, since you seem to know about it, Pain said as everyone's attention turned towards Orochimaru. Well, I guess I'll start at the beginning. I was in one of my hideouts when the ground started shaking. That's when a portal opened and sucked me in. Needless to say, I was quite surprised. After the initial shock before surveying the area, I've come to realize I was in a country called Japan, specifically Musatafu City, but we are still on planet Earth, Orochimaru said as he pulled out a small, thin, little box. It looked like a computer, but a lot smaller and more advanced. Orochimaru flipped it around to face us with a map that looks to be the world we're in. Everyone gawked at the small box held by the older man. What the fuck is that? Hidden said as he pointed at Orochimaru's cell phone. This is a cell phone? It's basically an upgrade from messenger birds. It allows you to message and communicate with people within seconds. Plus, it's an information hub on the world. I've got extras if you all want one. Later, Pain said as he signaled him to continue. Those are a lot of countries, Kisama said, grinning at the map. Look at all that money. Kakuzu said as he stared hungrily at the map. So many sacrifices for Jashin. Hidden said as he madly grinned at the map. In this world, 80% of the population has a superpower which they call quirks. The other 20% are what they call quirkless, basically civilians. Not too different from our world then, HM? Wrong boy. While there might be someone with a fire control or water control quirk, they're very different. Orochimaru chuckled at Deidara, who scowled at him for calling him boy. So what difference is there? They only have the ability to control their own power, so they can't master others unless you have a quirk that allows you to copy others' quirks. He takes a breath before continuing. However, every quirk has drawbacks. Similar to how if you have less chakra, the weaker you get. For example, let's say you have a flame manipulation quirk. The more you use your quirk, the hotter and sweatier you get, resulting in you passing out due to heat stroke. Orochimaru explains. So every quirk must have some sort of weakness, you said. Precisely, Orochimaru said, grinning when his point was clear. There are also those who use their quirks and become heroes. Okachimaru said. Kisame let out a snort, trying not to laugh. Heroes, Kakuzu said, not believing what he was hearing. They're people who are employed by the government to protect. Whether it is from natural disaster or villains, it doesn't matter. What matters is how quick you apprehend the villain and how little damage you caused. Orochimaru said. Getting paid to bring in people. This world keeps getting better and better. Kakuzu said as he grinned beneath the mask. However, the heroes have a strict no-kill policy for morals and law, and you must attend a hero school to be able to gain a license to be allowed to use your quirk in public. Orochimaru continues. That's actually so dumb. What if I'm getting robbed? Do they expect me not to defend myself? Like I'm not going to let them take my shopping money, I comment, scoffing. Kakuzu started to grumble about no killing and stuff. So, is that everything? Conan said. So how do these dumb schools work? Deidara questions. It's basically like the Ninja Academy, except you can start attending at 15, and there are more schools to choose from. Academy being the most popular and hardest academy to get into with a 0.2% acceptance rate. Damn, that's tough. Interesting. So who's the strongest hero then? And how high is his bounty? Kakuzu asks, his arms twitching in excitement. That would be All Might, the symbol of peace. Orochimaru said as he showed a picture of him on his cell phone to the Akatsukis. They were not impressed, to say the least. It was quiet for a minute. They were staring at the picture before some started laughing, and others stayed quite questioning the life choices in this world. Peace? Pain said as he stared at the picture in front of him at the man. What a joke. Sasori said as he scoffed at the picture. Ha 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 on man. That's the strongest hero they got. Ha 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 ha. Hidden got punched in the face by Kakuzu before he could continue laughing like a psycho. Broke people should never laugh. His hair looks funky, just like yours, Hidden, I say, laughing a bit before the older man starts to chase me around. Regardless of how he looks, he's still a major threat. Itachi said. He seems like a big threat with that fat ass. I try to comment as Hidden has me in a headlock and Pain sends me a stern look from what I said. Itachi is right. He will be a major issue to our plan. Pain said, moving his attention back towards the rest of the group. Our plan? What do you mean, Pain? Conan said. Itachi, Kisame, Sasori, and Deidara. I want you 5 to get into Academy and pose as students. That way we will learn more about these heroes and, more importantly, All Might. I'll handle how you all will get in. Understood? Yes. Sure. Understood. Whatever. What? No offense, Leader Sama, but I'm not going back to the academy. Deidara said, protesting. What's wrong? You got bullied back home? Kisama said as he grinned at the scowling Deidara. If anyone got bullied, it would have been you blue sicko, he yelled back at the shark man. Some people can have animal-based quirks, like the principal of you. Is a mouse, dog, bear hybrid who's extremely smart, Orochimaru pointed out. Now that just made you feel weird. Exactly, so like it or not, you're going to Deidara, Pain said with a stern voice. But Deidara tried to argue. You are going, understood? Pain said in a threatening voice, shivers going down everyone's spine. Oh, can I go? Can I go? Huh? Tobai said as he raised his hand while jumping up and down. Please, Leader Sama. I'll go, but please don't bring him. Please, Deidara said as he begged Pain not to bring him. Fine, I'll allow it, Pain said. Yahi, Tobai said as he started dancing. My life just keeps getting worse. Deidara starts to sulk as I go over to pat his back. Come on, let's go, you said as everyone started to walk off towards the city to scope out the area on Pain's orders. Yay, whatever. As we were walking, Sasori and Deidara started to fight over their art. Hey, wait for me guys, Tobai said as he ran after us. I start to walk slower to match the pace with the older members before going to walk beside Conan, who gives you a small smile. Pain looked over to Kakuzu as the orange-haired man walked beside you. So what's our job? Kakuzu asks, gesturing towards Hidden, who was picking his nose. I need you to make money for us. We need the funds to establish a base of operations. I trust you'll make enough for us to find a base by sunrise, Pain replies. Kakuzu grinned from his mask, the only thing he heard being make money. With pleasure, Kakuzu said venomously. He started to walk a bit faster to not waste time. Kakuzu, wait up. Save some for me. I need my sacrifices for Jashin, Hidden yelled out as he followed Kakuzu. And what about us? Black Zetsu said to Pain. You and Orochimaru will gather information. However, I want you, Zetsu, to look more into this man, All Might. Understood, White Zetsu said as he began to merge into the ground before disappearing. Why are you helping us, Orochimaru? Pain said as he looked at him. I simply want to make this world a better place, Orochimaru said as he licked his lips. Our leader scowled at Orochimaru. All I ask from you is to keep your nose out of our business. Now leave. Well, I suppose it can't be helped. I'll be on my way then, Nagato, Orochimaru said as he turned into a pile of snakes, moving towards the city. So what do we do now? I questioned. We wait for the others to complete their missions, he replies as we make our way on top of a high building. I'm sorry, Naruto, but your way of peace may have worked, but not for a place you can't protect. The man thinks to himself, I will prove to you that my way will work, he thought, a determined look on his face. This world shall know pain. So how have you been doing? A man with ugly glasses who sat behind a desk asked the guy standing on the other side of his desk. The man in question took out a cigarette and lit it, taking a long drag before speaking to the glasses man. I've been well, the man said before going back to his cigarette. I haven't seen you in over 10 months, and that's all you can say to me. You ever heard of a cell phone, Jiren? It's this thing that you can use to call people to let you know how you have been, the man sarcastically said. If you brought me over here to catch up, then I'm leaving Gato, Jiren said looking at his wristwatch. Just then the office door was kicked open. Jiren was caught off guard as he accidentally dropped his cigarette on the ground. Oh great, these guys, Gato muttered under his breath as he got up from his chair to greet them. Kakuzu, Hidden, how have you been? I haven't seen you guys in forever, Gato said with a fake grin. Jiren looked at Gato as he scoffed and shook his head at his antics. I see you guys got new outfits. I dig the new threads. I kinda miss your matching cloaks though, Gato said as he sat down again and poured himself a drink. Then he saw you behind them. And who is this little lady? He asked. None of your business, weirdo. Don't be rude in, Kakuzu said. Fine, you mumble, rolling your eyes. Kakuzu was wearing a black coat that went down to his knees. He was wearing a black vest underneath it. He was also wearing black jeans with black combat boots. Hidden was wearing a black jacket with fur on the hood. He was also wearing a white tank top underneath, while wearing blue jeans with a chain on it. He was also wearing sneakers. You were wearing whatever you want to wear because I'm too lazy to think of something. Kakuzu said nothing as and you walked over to their table as Hidden had the body of a dead hero over his shoulder. Once fully inside, throwing it on the floor. Thanks for the help, Hidden said sarcastically as he wiped his hands on his jacket, looking at the body in disgust. You're welcome, you said as you were on your new phone, sending ugly snaps back and forth with Deidara. Kakuzu ignored him as he glanced at Jurin, narrowing his eyes at him before looking back at Gato. Here's your dead hero, Gato. Now where's my money? Kakuzu said. Of course. Here you go. 1,000 yen. All in cash like you asked. Gato said. He handed him a briefcase. The older man opened it as he began counting. Jurin merely stared at him and his partner before he smirked. Who the hell are these guys? Jurin thought to himself. If Gato is paying them this much, they're the real deal, huh? Never thought Fast Twitch was on your hit list, Gato, Jurin said as he lit another cigarette. HM? Yeah, the guy deserved what was coming to him after he stopped one of my suppliers from delivering his merchandise, Gato said as he scowled at his dead corpse. Hey Kakuzu, we done yet? Hidden said. Getting bored, Kakuzu finished counting as he closed his briefcase. Yeah, let's go, Kakuzu said as he began to walk to the exit. You and Hidden followed behind him. Remind me, what were your guys' names again? Jurin, before you three could walk out. Hidden, and you looked behind yourself as you raised your brow at him. Kakuzu stopped walking as he turned around and looked at Jurin with narrow eyes. Hidden doing the same. I know who you are. You're an information broker who sticks his nose into everyone's business, otherwise known as Jurin, Kakuzu said. So you've been doing your homework. Yet I don't know a single thing about you three, Jurin said as he grinned at them. You also have a high bounty on your head, you said, while Kakuzu was giving his full attention towards Jurin. You know, this big guy right here loves people with high bounties, I add, patting Kakuzu on his arm. Whoa guys, now let's just all calm down. Shut up, Gato, Jurin said as he got up from his chair to face the 3S rank criminals. So what do you want? Hidden said, getting impatient now that he's been here longer than he wants to be. An associate of mine is looking for recruits, making a group or something, he said. Not interested, Kakuzu said as he crossed his arms. I thought you would say that. Maybe the amount of money we would pay will interest you more, Jurin said as he opened his cell phone to show his bank account to Kakuzu. Kakuzu had to compose himself upon seeing that much money in from the screen, while you and Hidden just started with a bored look, clearly wanting to get out of here. The masked man sat there for a minute before coming up with a response. We'll discuss this after we ask our leader, Kakuzu said as he left the bar. You and Hidden just walked behind him, finally happy they were out of that place. I'll keep in touch, Jurin said as he grinned. Wow, you sure know how to conduct business, Gato said from his chair, clearly impressed. Jurin ignored him as he made a call to someone, walking towards the bar for a drink. Hey, it's me. Geez, harsh much? Jurin looked at Fast Twitch's body before grinned maniacally. I think I found some new recruits for your little league of villains. And that's when we left, Kakuzu said to Pain as he finished his story. Sounds like a bunch of people with too much time and money to spend, Sasori said before he went back to his room to work on one of his new puppets. Nevertheless, we shouldn't ignore this if you two are going to continue to bring in funds for us, Black Zetsu said. Why don't we all just go over there and slaughter them? Kisame said, his grin never leaving his face. I'll agree to that, Hidden said with a grin of his own. Can I come? Pretty please ye, hugging the arm of the closest person to you, which happened to be hidden. The man just shoved you to the ground. No. If they're interested in you three, then you'll join them. Except for In, because you still have another mission to do. Pain said towards Hidden, Kakuzu, and you. They were surprised to say the least. Are you sure about this, Pain? Conan said. Yeah, what if they find out? Hidden said, who to everyone's surprise, was thinking for once. This is so unfair. Why do they get the cool job, and I have to go back to school? You say to yourself, pouting at the thought. I'm sure it's better to have these types of people close to you. Try to find out more about this group and report to me or Conan. Pain said as he walked away towards his room. I will personally be making a visit to this group. Pain said, his Rinnegan glowing before he went into his room and shut the door. Well, that was interesting. Hidden said, scratching the back of his head. I'm going to bed. You said as you went to your room. Me too. Kakuzu said as he went to his room. Hidden just looked at Kakuzu as a tick mark formed on his head. Hey Kakuzu. We have to form a plan for when we meet that guy again and his buddies. Hidden said. In the morning. Kakuzu said as he slammed his door shut. Hidden grit his teeth before he finally signed and went to his room too. The rest of the Akatsuki went to their room too. A certain 5 knowing they had a big day tomorrow. Around 5 a.m. the next morning, I was in bed staring up at the ceiling, thinking about the mission we will be starting today. A bunch of kids trying to become heroes to stop people like us. How stupid. If the heroes think someone is a villain, they can do whatever they want. But what if they're my hero? That's just unfair. Now you let out a sigh before getting up to get ready for the day. How troublesome. I can't believe we're actually doing this, HM. Ah, don't be so grumpy, Daidara. Maybe we'll find a cute girl for you. Ooh, I'll help, I say, slinging an arm around Daidara and Tobai. Shut it, Tobai. Look what you started. Daidara snaps back. The 6 of you were currently walking towards you, in their street clothes. Daidara was wearing a black jacket, under it a V-neck, sleeveless, midriff shirt, with mesh armor underneath it along with gray pants and sneakers. Tobai was wearing a black hoodie along with black jeans and sneakers and his mask. Sasori was wearing a green shirt, on top of it a black jacket, with blue jeans along with sneakers. Kisame was wearing a white tank top along with blue jeans and black boots. Itachi was wearing a button-up shirt, keeping the collar loose. He also had it tucked into his suit pants. He was also wearing dress shoes to complete his look. All in all, he was probably the best dressed out of the 6 of us. I was wearing a black pleated skirt, with a knit sweater, and Mary Jane shoes. Itachi was carrying a bag with all the clothes we were going to change into at the exam. So why are we taking the stupid entrance exam? Daidara said as he scratched his head. They said it will determine what class you'll be put in. You have to rack up enough points to pass to get into the hero course. If not, you're going into general studies. I say as I continue to walk down the street. Interesting. How do you know that information? Kisame said as he stared at me. It's called using your phone, duh, Grandpa. So this All Might guy is gonna be a teacher here, huh? Kisame said, ignoring the comment I just made. That's right, Itachi said. Poor Kakuzu. Maybe if he didn't look like an old rag doll, he would have been here with us. Daidara said before snickering to himself. Even if we do find him, what's the plan? Kisame questions. That's for leader to decide, Sasori replied. After about 10 more minutes of walking, we made it outside the gates of the big H-shaped building. We're here, Itachi said as Daidara and Sasori stopped arguing about art to notice the school. Remember, don't put too much attention to yourselves, I say as Itachi, and I walk away from them towards the numbered doors. That's right. So try not to get yourself in too much trouble, Daidara, Kisame said while walking past. Daidara glared and scowled at the grinning Kisame. The shark boy began walking away to catch up to you and Itachi. I swear if we weren't a group Just shut up and walk, Sasori said before pushing Deidara harshly. Come on, Tobai. Sasori looked to see Tobai gone, Deidara noticing too. Guess Tobai is finally following orders now, Deidara said before walking into somebody. Watch where you're going, you dunce, Deidara said out of anger toward the green-haired boy who was on the ground. My bad, sorry, he said before getting up and dusting himself off. I'm sorry about that. I was kinda dazed because this girl. I don't care, Deidara said as he began walking away from Sasori and the boy to the doors. Deidara, stop being mean to random people, I say, stopping and turning my body around to look at the situation. Shut the fuck up, and the blonde starts to run after me and try to hit my head. I quickly sprint towards Itachi and Kasame, hiding behind the two taller men. The green-haired boy just stared at the situation before noticing Sasori was still there and tried to introduce himself. Hi, I'm Midoriya Izuku. Are you trying to do the entrance exams too? Midoriya said, stuttering over his words. Sasori just stared at the boy before walking away towards the doors. Hey, okay then. See you in the exam, Midoriya yelled out after them. For all you examiner listeners tuning in, welcome to my show today. A man whose hair looks like a banana yelled out from the stage. Everybody say hey. Hey, Tobai screamed out, causing everybody to turn and stare at Tobai, which unfortunately had the other 5 of us sitting around him. Deidara proceeded to facepalm. Kasame was snickering. You were trying not to laugh. Itachi just ignored the situation, and Sasori was debating if he should turn Tobai into a puppet. Awesome, Present Mike said as he pointed at Tobai. All right then, I'll give you a rundown of the test, Present Mike said. Are you ready? Yeah, Tobai yelled out. As it says on the forms, you listeners will be conducting 10-minute mock urban battles after this. As Present Mike went over stuff, the Akatsuki members looked at their exam tickets. Exam No. 7888. Test location. Battle Center B. I guess I'm at a... Kasame said as he stared at his ticket. Oh, me too, Mr. Kasame, Tobai said. Good luck, Deidara said dryly towards Kasame. I'm at B, Sasori said as he looked at his. Same, Deidara said. What'd you get in an Itachi? Kasame said. I have B as well, you said, turning your attention back toward Present Mike. Me too, Itachi said. May I ask a question? Everyone's head turned towards a boy with glasses. Yes. On the printout, there are 4 types of villains, the boy said as he pulled up the paper. If that is a misprint, then UA, the most prominent school in Japan, should be ashamed of that foolish mistake. The boy continued. Talk about uptight and annoying, Deidara said as he smirked at the boy, kicking his feet up on the desk. He reminds me of somebody, Kasame said as he grinned, looking at Itachi and Sasori. We examinees are here in this place because we wish to be molded into exemplary heroes. In addition, you over there with the curly hair. He pointed at green hair boy. You in the mask, and you with the yellow hair, he said as he pointed at Tobai and Deidara. You've been muttering this whole time. You have been too loud, and you are showing no respect towards this school, he said as he pointed at each of them. If you came here for fun and games, you should all just leave, the boy said as he narrowed his eyes at them. I'm sorry. Oops, sorry. Don't tell me what to do, freak. Deidara shut it, Sasori whispered to him. Deidara glared at Ida with a scowl. That's like his resting face at this point. Okay. Examinee number 7111. Thanks for the great message, Present Mike said to cool the tension. That villain is 0 PTS. He's merely an obstacle that will go crazy in narrow spaces. It's not impossible to defeat, but it's not worth defeating either. I recommend you guys avoid it. Thank you very much. Please excuse my interruption, he said before sitting down. That's all from me. Finally, I'll give you listeners a present, our school motto. A hero named Napoleon Bonaparte once said, "A true hero is someone who overcomes life's misfortunes. Go beyond. Plus ultra. Good luck suffering." Well, that was boring, I commented as the six of us walked out of the room. Deidara looked at me, a smirk on his face. I bet I can kill more of those robots than you, Deidara said to me. Oh, you are so on, I say, mirroring his smirk. Must everything be a competition between you two? Itachi asked as he was stretching. Yes. Yes, the two of us said in sync, the older Uchiha sighing in disbelief. Haha, unlike me. I can pass off my exploding clay as a quirk. For her, though, she's just gonna have to rely on fire style. How can she explain something like the Sharingan as a quirk? Deidara thought to himself before smirking. Are you two done? Pain-sama won't be happy if we all don't pass, Sasori said as he cracked his fingers. Let's hope Kasama passes and that idiot fails then, Deidara said. All right, let's go, Itachi said as the gates opened. On a beach, two people with bright hair colors could be seen standing looking out at the ocean. Are you worried about them? Pain turned around to see Conan walking up to him. No, I trust their mission will be successful, the man replied, turning back to face the water. Even with their powers downgraded? Conan questioned, the man beside her sighing. Remembering what happened earlier that morning. Do we really have to do this, Jum? Looks like we have no choice. I'm sorry, but this is the only way to ensure your mission is successful. The serum should ensure us that you four look the proper age, Pain said as Orochimaru prepared a needle. So why isn't Sasori and in doing it? Deidara said in annoyance. Because unlike you four, I'm 15 and Sasori just has a baby face, you say, walking over to Orochimaru and grabbed the needle he was holding. Quickly walking towards Deidara's and grabbing his arm before giving him the needle. Hey, what the hell? Deidara yelled. The man winced as he felt the effects of the needle. We should feel some effects now from the needle, Orochimaru said as he walked over to the table everyone was sitting at with the rest of the injections. Deidara was breathing heavily as his eyes became bloodshot before he collapsed to the floor. Deidara, Tobai yelled as he got up from his chair to check on him. You put a hand over your mouth to stop yourself from laughing before taking a photo of him on the ground. Hidden didn't try to hide his laughing as he started to laugh like a psycho. Is that supposed to happen? Itachi questions as he slaps my head gently for laughing. Orochimaru just smiled as he stared at Deidara. Just give it a minute. After a minute, Deidara rose up from his coma. Deidara, you're alive, Tobai said as he hugged him. I'll give you 3 seconds to let go before I break that stupid mask of yours with my foot. Tobai proceeded to let go and run to the other side of the table. How do you feel? Pain questions, shooing Tobai away. I feel different, Deidara said as he slowly got up. You look different too, I say as the blonde looks at me. I didn't realize you could get uglier. And I'm going to blow you the fuck up. We were all standing on a beach, not too far from the base at the ass crack of dawn. Pain walked up to the shore, the waves hitting his feet, his back turned to the Akatsukis. Deidara. Set man was super wide and immediately stood straight, facing his leader. Pain turned around to face him, his right hand out in front of him. Come. Deidara grinned, knowing he was in for a fight, walking up to stand directly across from their leader. Are we really doing this? Kasama said as he grinned, tingling from excitement. I guess so, Itachi said as he sat down on the sand. I follow suit, leaning my head on his shoulder as I let out a yawn. Orochimaru walked between the two of them. He raised his hand. Are you two ready? Both nodding their heads. All right, begin, Orochimaru said as he brought his hand down. Deidara immediately put his hands in his pouches and quickly pulled out pieces of clay, feeding it to his hands before spitting them back out. The clay abominations proceeded to run at Pain, each trying to attack him. Pain was dodging and flipping from each attack so fast that nobody could register his movements. Finally, Pain decided to go on the offensive, as he produced a chakra rod from his cloak and slashed and sliced each clay piece, each one coming back up though. Deidara, however, was keeping his cool. I just need to wait for them to be small enough, Deidara thinks, a smirk making its way onto his face. He's so going to lose, I mumble, try to keep myself awake as I let out another yawn. I agree with that, Sasori agrees, glancing towards me quickly before looking back at the fight. Pretty soon, the clay pieces were the size of squirrels, but still not letting up. However, one proceeded to get on Pain's foot. Deidara grinned. "Katsu!" Deidara yelled out. Almighty push. As soon as Pain said that, Deidara and his clay puppets were pushed back, but not before exploding. Deidara slowly got up from the ground, breathing heavily, smirking. "I knew I was no match for you, so I decided to come at you with full force. My explosion may have been pushed back, but I amplified my chakra into those clay puppets so that my explosion would be bigger." "How big, Deidara?" Kakuzu questioned. Deidara coughed before he spoke. "Big enough to level a few buildings," he said in a confident voice. As the smoke cleared, we all saw Pain was still standing with no marks. The explosive boy's eyes widened. "What? You should at least have some damage on you. Your explosion was weak," Itachi says, standing up. "Shut up." "He's right, Deidara. That explosion was as powerful as a grenade blast." You added on, also standing up to go stand beside the blonde. "Now you're uglier and weaker." Deidara went pale as he realized it. The syringe serum wasn't just supposed to make them look younger. It was also supposed to make them weaker and feel younger. He tried to make a C2, C3, and C4, but all that came out of his hands were mashed up clay. He then made a clay spider to see how big he could make the explosion. When he detonated, it was the size of a small explosion. Let's just say he was not happy. "Change me back," Deidara yelled at Orochimaru as he stomped towards the snake man and grabbed the collar of his shirt. "I'm afraid I can't do that," Orochimaru said as he smiled at the scowling bomber. "You're changing me back, even if I have to break your hands," Deidara said as he prepared another clay spider. "Deidara, enough," Pain said as he walked over to the two. "Yeah, Blondie. It's not like you'll never be able to use those jutsu again," Kisame said with a grin. "I don't want to learn the same jutsu again. I want to get stronger," Deidara yelled out. "You're not the only one who's going to be weaker." You comment. "Easy for you to say, fat ass. You literally get to stay the same," Deidara yells at you. "Yeah, Deidara, me, Kisame, and Itachi still haven't gotten our needles yet," Tobai said nervously, not wanting to piss Deidara off even more. "All right, fine. Are you three ready?" Orochimaru said as he brought out the needles. "Yep. Yes. I guess." As Itachi, Kisame, and Tobai took the needles, they each felt its effect. For Itachi, he still had his Sharingan and his Mangekyou Sharingan. He could also use his fire style. However, he couldn't only activate his Sharingan. He still knew he had his Mangekyou Sharingan because he felt the energy in his eyes, but they wouldn't activate. Tobai was on the same boat as Itachi. He couldn't activate his Mangekyou Sharingan, only activate the Sharingan in his right eye. He could still use his wood style though, no fire style though, to his annoyance. Sasori had less chakra. Kisame probably suffered the worst. His chakra reserves were cut in half, as Kisame called it, which made Samhata harder to control because its master was weaker. His water style is on the same level as Itachi's fire style currently. "All right, I guess that's everybody," Orochimaru said as he cleaned his hands with the towel he brought. "I hate this," Deidara said. "That's something we can all agree on, surprisingly," Kisame said. Deidara, Itachi, and Tobai all nodded their heads at that. Losers, I say, sticking out my tongue before laughing. All right, it's time for you six to start your mission. Remember to gain as much information as possible on the Hero Society, as well as All Might. I've made sure that there's only a slim chance of you being discovered, but the chance is still there, so don't mess up this mission. Understood? Failure is not an option. Pain said in a threatening tone. Yes, Pain-sama. Now go. Complete the goal of the Akatsukis. I think they'll do exceptionally well. They still aren't weak, even if their chakra and skills have lessened. I'm certain that all of them will pass the exam perfectly, Pain says. Any news on the villain group from Hidden and Kakuzu? They have a meeting scheduled with the man they met along with employer in 2 days. If the terms are good, then we will proceed with this group. If not, then so be it. The purple-haired woman just nodded her head as the two continued to look out to the water. Guys, let's pretend you can work together in the exams. You stole my points, Uchiha, Deidara said as Itachi jumped down from the two-pointer. Itachi just stared at him with a blank face as Deidara got even more angry. He was about to jump at the older Uchiha. Deidara, watch out, you screamed at him. Sasori used his puppet strings to pull Deidara away from a falling robot. Deidara was in shock for a minute before noticing a girl with brown bob was touching robots, making them float before crashing down. Watch where you're dropping those things, you idiot. Deidara angrily yelled at her as he got up from the ground. The poor girl went red from embarrassment. I'm really sorry about that, she yelled out, comically looking nervous. Whatever. Deidara scoffed as he quickly made more clay birds. They flew towards a 3-point robot before exploding. He grinned at his handiwork. 40 points. Not bad for someone like me, Deidara said with pride. Let's see how those Uchihas are doing, Deidara said as he looked to his left to see you punch 2 3-point robots. Itachi was using his fire style to destroy 3 robots. Fire release. Great fireball technique. The robots were incinerated from the fireball. Deidara got a little angry. 46 points, and 49 points in the first 4 minutes. Not bad, Sasori said, smirking at us before destroying another robot. Deidara started grit his teeth, his eye twitching. Sasori turned towards his partner. Shouldn't you be more focused on points than Itachi and In? Sasori asked, but ran off to hunt for more robots before he could respond. Fuck off. The teachers were watching the exam from viewing room, but most teachers were looking at 6 kids in particular. What are those 6 kids' quirks? A guy who looked homeless and looked like he hadn't had sleep in years asked. The rat, bear, dog principal picked up the files and started reading them. These totally didn't take me 2 fucking hours to make. Their quirks are extremely powerful, and as it seems the 2 Uchihas, Akasuna and Tsukui, know each other with how they're working together, but still collecting their own rescue and villain points. Tobai and Hoshigaki are as well working together, but Tobai has only collected rescue points while Hoshigaki has only collected villain points so far. The 6 of them have extremely powerful and well-trained quirks, Nezu says, sipping some tea as the rest of the teachers are awe of these children. Their fighting styles are similar in some aspects, which we can conclude that all 6 of them know each other. If only they were all in the same battle zone. How strong would working all together? The tired man added, staring at the screen as robots continued to be destroyed. That's when the ground began to rumble. Loud banging noise coming from behind your group. Looking back, there was a giant robot, the 0-pointer. A whole crowd of people began to run away from the huge thing. Less than 2 minutes left, Present Mike yelled through the speakers. I wanted to go try and destroy it, but Sasori grabbed my arm before I could run towards it. There's no point. We still have time to rack up around 20 points. Wasting time on this giant robot is pointless. Ugh, fini. We run towards the clay bird Deidara just made, jumping on and starting to fly through the air. Just then, there was a green flash going through the air before punching the 0-pointer in the face. The robot crumbled to the ground as the boy began to fall. Hey guys, Greenie over there is falling. Probably is gonna die from the impact. We should probably go save him, and the brown hair girl stuck under the rubble, I say, pointing in the direction of the boy falling. Son of a bitch, Deidara says, turning his bird around to head fast towards the boy. Sasori, use your strings to catch him, and you go down and grab the girl. Aye aye, caption, I reply, jumping off the big bird and landing on the ground. I quickly run over to the mountain of rocks where the girl is buried, moving it quickly and offering a hand out to the girl. You good? She grabs my hand, pulling her up to stand. I'm okay, thank you for getting me out. I'm Uraraka Ochako. She introduces herself with a bow. Uchiha-en, I'm gonna go see if Greenie's okay. See ya. I wave to the girl before running towards the group of boys. Ah! Midoriya screamed as he was about to hit the ground, but the impact never came. I'm safe? Deidara, control this damn thing. Sasori yelled as he tried to concentrate on not letting Midoriya fall or be cut to badly from his puppet threads. Sorry. Uchiha didn't think about gravity and physics. Deidara yelled as he tried to keep his clay bird from tipping, as the way Midoriya's weight was placed was causing it to be uneven and force from his fall was making them approach the ground fast. Huh? What's going on? Midoriya said as he was dangling a few inches off the ground. My friends rescued you. Itachi said as jumped down from the bird to stand in front of Midoriya. We're not friends, Deidara yelled from his bird. The green-haired boy's sweat dropped upon hearing that. Here, let me help you, Itachi said as he grabbed Midoriya, cutting the threads off. Wait, what about that girl? She was trapped in that rubble. Is she all right? Midoriya said as he turned his head to see the rubble. Calm down, she's all right. My sister helped her get out, Itachi said as he pointed at her with the rest of the students, then turned his attention to you walking over. JS, to clarify, you and Itachi aren't siblings, cousins, but to make it seem less suspicious, you say siblings since your quirks are the same. Don't worry, your girlfriend's safe, I say with a teasing smirk. The boy face turned tomato red before he tried to start walking, but fell right on his butt. What are you doing? Are you trying to hurt yourself? Itachi said, scolding the green hair boy. However, he ignored him and tried to crawl. If I can just get 1 point. Time's up, Greenie passed out, either from his injuries or from that announcement. Deidara and Sasori landed, Deidara making his bird smaller again. The four of you just stared at this boy's body for a hot minute. What's wrong with his quirk? Yeah, what the heck was that? That seems to be a reinforcement type quirk. Why was he acting weak in the exam? Was he trying to trick us? All of you listened to everyone say their thoughts aloud. They don't get it. He destroyed his whole body after one punch. He can't control his power, Sasori said, cutting me off as I look at him with a hurt expression. Of course, he ignored my look. Even so, I've never seen that kind of power except from Kakuzu or Pain, Deidara said as he noticed an old woman coming toward them. Okay, good work, good work, good work. Here are some gummies, she said as she handed some to Itachi. Thank you, Itachi said to her before putting one in his mouth. Itachi, you remember that one time I got you a tissue? I think I deserve some gummies for that. I give the man a pleading look. Itachi sighs before putting some in my hand. I let out a squeal before I go rub it in Deidara's face that I got some, and he didn't. Oh dear, you were hurt this much by your own quirk? The old woman said before, kissing Midoriya's head. What the frick? What is she doing? Deidara said in a disgusted voice. Yue, licensed school nurse, recovery girl, Itachi replied. Everyone looked in awe as Midoriya's legs and arm were healed in no time flat. Her quirk is super activation of healing ability. Yue can only go through with such a reckless entrance exam because of her. Itachi continues. She could have been useful when I lost my arms instead of the old rag doll and his stitching. Deidara thought dryly to himself. Is anyone else injured? So did we fail? Shut up, Tobai. Currently, the 6 Akastuskis were waiting for their envelopes to arrive as they all gathered around the table. You know, for a so-called hero school that everyone tries to get into, they're really bad at sending letters. Kasama said. They have thousands of students who apply to the school, so I wouldn't blame them on how long their letters take. I said while reading a book. Zetsu appeared out of the floor, scaring the shit out of me. No matter how many times I see it, it always freaks me out. Your letters have come. White Zetsu said as he handed the letters to each of them. Everyone opened the envelopes, a small disc coming out of each one. Who wants to go first? I'll go because I'm obviously going to have the most points, Deidara says, a cocky look on his face as he presses the disc. A projection of the buff man known as All Might shows up on the screen. He was yapping about working at the school before telling the blonde he got 65 villain points and 15 rescue points. He was placed in Class 1A. Next up was Sasori. He got 67 battle points and 13 rescue points. He was also placed in Class 1A. Kasame got 81 battle points, 0 rescue points, and was placed in Class 1A. 25 battle points and 50 rescue points. Woohoo! Yeah! Tobai said as he began dancing, very excited about his school. How the hell did that idiot get any points? Deidara said in frustration. You should have seen him. He was destroying and rescuing people like his life was on the line. Kazama said sarcastically. Deidara turned to face me and Itachi. What about you two? 60 battle points and 25 rescue points, Class 1A. Itachi said. 68 battle points and 15 rescue points. I'm also in Class 1A. You reply. I guess I got more points, rat. How did you get more points than me? I'm going to jump you, Deidara yelled out before he started to chase me around the living room. Help! This Pisco is going to kill me. Get back here, fucker. Pain suddenly walked into the room, the two of us halting in our tracks. You all made it in. Now we have planted the seeds of our plan. Sleep well tonight. I'm sure tomorrow they will be testing your skills. Everyone nodded their heads and started leaving the room. You and Deidara kicking each other as you walked towards your bedrooms. Yue, All Might. It doesn't matter who they bring, because they will all know pain. Hidden let out a loud yawn as him and Kakuzu stood in an abandoned warehouse. I swear, Hidden, the next time you yawn, I'm sewing your mouth shut. Kakuzu said as he glared at him. Well, you didn't tell me we were meeting up with this guy so late. I just wanted to sleep, man, Hidden said, annoyance. Kakuzu just signed himself, as he was getting impatient too. Kakuzu spoke on the phone with Jurin about where they were meeting the day before. All he said was the address and to meet at 1 a.m. and hung up. Kakuzu was used to this, though, as he adapted to this world's underworld of crime. Jurin and him knew somebody would be listening, somebody with a badge. The thing is, where is Jurin? So you're actually here, huh? Jurin said from a platform facing down to the ground floor, leaning against the railing. He gave them a smirk with his signature cigarette. You're late, Kakuzu said as he and Hidden glared at him from below. Sorry about that, traffic was killer, Jurin said, grinning at them. Hidden just scoffed and shook his head, while Kakuzu clenched his fists even tighter. Cut the crap and tell us why we walked all the way out to this dump, Hidden said out loud, yawning afterwards. And where's your employer? Kakuzu said, his arms twitching. Straight to the point, huh? I like that. Could get you killed, but I like that, Jurin said as he began to pace around. My employer couldn't make it tonight. He's in a meeting with his boss, Jurin said. That doesn't please me, Kakuzu said, his body starting to twitch more. Wait. Won't beat around the bush. Apparently, he's rounding up almost every villain he can get his hands on to invade somewhere. And that is? Hidden asked. waiting on a response. Jurin started to laugh. You really think I'm stupid enough to tell you that? Jurin asked as he took a drag from his cigarette. Yes, Hidden said with a smirk. You're wasting my time, Kikuzu said in an irritated tone. Personally, I don't want you guys to go anyways, Jurin said. And why is that? Kikuzu asked. The plan has too many flaws, and the location happens to have the biggest influx of pro heroes. Last time I checked, one pro hero can handle at least 20 villains, Jurin said as he stared at his cigarette with a frown. So we're done here then, Kikuzu said as he began to walk away, Hidden following behind him. Not exactly, Jurin said as he jumped down to the first floor, dusting off his suit after standing up. Kikuzu stopped walking to turn around and glare at Jurin, Hidden turning around after him while scratching his head. You see, the reason I called you two over here is because my employer's boss told him to find villains. However, my employer hired me to find powerful and unique pro-villains just in case the invasion fails. A plan B, basically. We don't have a plan as of now because I'm still recruiting some villains, Jurin said, taking a drag from his cigarette after. The money dealer man crossed his arms and closed his eyes, thinking about it. You'll be paid handsomely, Jurin said with a grin. Fine, I accept, Kazu said immediately after Jurin said that. What you need to talk to me first, I'm part of this deal too. You'll also be killing lots of people, Jurin said, his grin ever present. Hell yeah, Hidden said with a mad grin, his mood doing a whole 180 flip. So when do we start? Kikuzu asked. Well, first we have to wait for my employer's boss's invasion to blow over. You might have the chance to join it just to see how everything works, Jurin said with a smirk. Probably a few weeks after starts up. I'll give you guys a call to update you whenever something happens. Until then. Understood, Kikuzu said as he exited the warehouse. See ya. Hidden gave a wave as he followed Kazu. Jurin just grinned as all the pieces began to fit into the plan. Looks like they're gone, Jurin said. A purple hazy mist began to form before a being appeared before Jurin. What's going on, Kurogiri? Jurin said with a wave as he lit a new cigarette. I'm happy that it ended well without an incident, the mist known as Kurogiri said. Yep. How's the kid doing? The young master is doing well, but I'm afraid an invasion won't end well at all, Kurogiri said, turning away from Jurin. Well, the kid is still young. He's gonna have to deal with defeat sooner rather than later, Jurin said with a frown. Besides, the good thing that'll come out of this is that I'll get paid regardless, Jurin said before laughing to himself. At least we'll be able to test the power of Namu, Kurogiri said to himself. Come Jurin, let's leave, Kurogiri said before opening a portal. Whatever you say, Jurin said as he walked in before the portal closed, leaving the warehouse abandoned. Or was it? Suddenly the ground began to morph before a giant green plant appeared from the ground, and a figure jumped out of the shadows. You In said as black and white Zetsu grinned. The 6 knew you. Students were walking down the halls to head to Class 1A. The hallways were extremely crowded, but Kasama is tall, so he just pushed everyone out of the way for us. Deidara-senpai, what's wrong with your face? Huh? Deidara said as he looked at Tobai. Deidara looked like he was a walking zombie. He had to be woken up by with a spider in his face, since he forgot they were going to school today. Your face, Deidara-senpai. You look so tired. Tobai shivered as Deidara sent him a glare. Good one, Tobai. I give the orange mask man wink with a small thumbs up before being slapped in the head by the blonde. Yeah, well, I didn't expect to be 15, lose most of my jutsu, start going to school, and help some brat when I died, Deidara whisper yelled. A simple stayed up all night would have given us an answer, Kasami said, turning his head to look over his shoulder at Deidara. The explosive just turned his head and scowled at him. Kisame grinning in response. Shut up. He quickly walked ahead of the group. Itachi looks like he got enough sleep, Kisame said, grinning even more that he hit a nerve. Deidara stopped walking and turned around dramatically and faced Kisame. Uh-oh, Tobai said as he quickly ran behind a trash can. First day, and we're causing a scene, see Deidara. Itachi would never do that. I continued to tease him. Deidara's face started to turn red as tick mark appeared on his forehead. Let's go one thing clear, don't compare me to him, Deidara said, emphasizing each word while pointing at Itachi who stood there with a blank face. Jealousy is not a good look on him. You muttered, Sasori nodding his head agreeing to what you said. Kisame just started to laugh as Deidara continued to glare right at him. You honestly think you can beat Itachi, much less me? I don't think it, I know it, Deidara said with a smirk. Kisame proceeded to pull some hata off his back as it slammed into the floor, causing cracks. Then prove it, Kisame said. Guys, we shouldn't be fighting, we'll get in so much trouble. Shut up, Tobai, Deidara yelled as he stuck his hands into his clay pouches. What are those idiots doing? Sasori said in annoyance to Itachi. Shall I handle it? Itachi asked. No, leave it. This is going to be so funny to watch, you said. What's going on here? Everyone turned and looked to see a tall man with messy, shoulder-length black hair that was slightly hanging in front of his face. He has half-opened black eyes. He's wearing a long-sleeved black shirt and matching pants that tuck into his boots. He was also wearing a utility belt and scarf. He looked like he hadn't got sleep in a very long time. Tobai quickly ran up into the man's face. Please stop them. I tried to stop them, but Deidara told me to shut up. I don't like it when my friends fight. Tobai cried out to the man. The man just stared blankly before sighing. If I catch this again, you all are expelled. He stuck a finger in his ear. Huh, what? Tobai said as he scratched his head. Deidara proceeded to walk over to Tobai and throw his arm over his shoulder. Ah, Tobai, you're such a goofball. Me and Kisame were just playing around and having fun, Deidara said with a fake smile as he wrapped his arm around Tobai. But you said GRKK. Haha, Tobai, you talk a bit much, Deidara said as he tightened his squeeze around Tobai's neck. Sorry, sir. You see, Tobai just doesn't get the relationship between the two of them. It's just playful bickering, nothing more. You're so silly, Tobai, I say, trying not to laugh while talking. Just get to class. All right, thank you, sir, Deidara said as he waved goodbye with a smile while dragging Tobai. Kisame walked past him with a grin, and Aizawa narrowed his eyes at him. Something about that kid is bad news. Sasori just gave him a stare as he walked. Aizawa stared at him in confusion. That kid is weird and kinda creepy. Finally, you and Itachi walked past. Now these two, I couldn't get anything out of. We're sorry about the trouble we caused, sir, Itachi says, bowing his head before walking away with me by his side. Try and get more sleep, mister, I say, patting his arm. It's no problem, I'll see you in class, Aizawa said as he walked away from Itachi. I link arms with the older Uchiha before dragging him towards everyone else. Where were you? Sasori asked. Itachi apologized for the trouble we caused because he's a good person. Duh, you said. Should have expected that. We all stopped walking once we reached a giant door with a sign that says 1A at the top. All right, remember guys, we have to make a good impression, so don't act like an idiot, Deidara, you said. All right, hey. As Itachi opened the door, and they all went in, they saw their weird classmates. Take your legs off that desk right this instant. Like hell I would do that. The 4 Akatsuki members stared at the interaction before them. Oh great, this guy again, Deidara said with a sigh. Ah, it's you 6, Ida said as he began speed walking towards them. Deidara got freaked out, the two of us making eye contact. Why is he walking like that? The two of us thought at the same time while staring at each other. I never got your names. My name is Ep1, Ida said, doing a whole 90-degree bow. Uchiha Itachi, it's a pleasure to meet you. Itachi smiled, happy that someone approached them. Same to you, Uchiha, Ida said with a smile. Itachi laughed sheepishly. Was it something I said? Ida said as he looked confused. No, you didn't say anything wrong. It's just my sister, Bnha, is here, so it will get confusing if you call us by our last name. So just call me Itachi. Itachi said with a smile, and pointing at you, well, you sent a lazy wave to him. All right then. It's a pleasure to meet you, Itachi. And your names? Akasuna no Sasori. I'm Tobai. Hoshigaki Kasami. Tsukui Deidara. Don't forget it, weirdo. Hello. The five of them turned around to see the kid with green hair that they saved. I'd you just look like to them. Thank you three for saving me in the exam. Midoriya spurted out, looking at the floor shyly. It's no problem, really, Itachi said. You were pretty cool out there, destroying robots and stuff. Midoriya said with a smile. Thank you. However, you were pretty amazing. Destroying that robot with one punch, that was pretty cool. Itachi said as Midoriya and Ida laughed out loud. And you rubbed the bridge of your nose. Mumbling, I think they forgot we're here. Sasori and Deidara nodded in agreement. Hey, I recognize that green hair. Midoriya turned around to see the cute girl from the exam. You were so awesome. You destroyed that robot in one punch. Midoriya just stared at her, face turning red. Oh yeah, you four were awesome too. Especially you with the cool eyes. Pointing at you. And you with a cool fire breath. It's really no big deal. It's just two average quirks. I say, crossing my arms over my chest. What? No way. You two were destroying those robots like nothing. Uraraka said to boost you and Itachi up. I completely agree, Ida said out loud. Deidara crossed his arms as he leaned against a desk. They're all acting like Itachi was the only one who saved the brat, when it was really me and Sasori who had to do all the work. Deidara thought bitterly to himself, glaring at the interaction. Awa, are you sad, Deidara? If you're just here to make friends, you can leave. A voice said from outside of the classroom. Everyone turned to look at the door to see that homeless-looking guy in a yellow sleeping bag. He then got out of it before talking again. It took you 8 seconds to be quiet. That won't work. Everyone quickly went to their seats. He then pulled out uniforms out of his sleeping bag. Isn't that the guy we saw in the hallway on the way here? Deidara whispered to me and Sasori. Are you really that stupid? You and Sasori said in Snake as you both looked at Deidara. He just awkwardly laughed as Aizawa kept talking. Put these on and meet me at the training field. I'll explain everything there. Aizawa said as he walked out of the classroom. Everyone proceeded down to the field, the Akatsuki members walking behind everyone else. And give us info on him, Itachi said as he walked forward, not even turning his head to speak to you, who was behind him, and was currently hacking into UA's teacher archives. His name is Shota Aizawa, his hero name being Eraserhead. Deidara snorted. What kind of name is that? If you would let her finish, she'd tell you idiot. And hurry up. We don't have enough time before everyone starts wondering where we are. Itachi said. His quirk is called Erasure. It gives him the ability to erase anyone's quirk by looking at them. While powerful, this ability has many drawbacks. Such as? Deidara asked. Hey guys, hurry up, Ida said, finally finding them. Sorry about that. Deidara just wanted to tell us something. Sasori said with a fake smile. Yep. Deidara said with a smirk. Ida just scratched his head. All right then, Ida said, then went off. We'll discuss this later. You said as the 6 of us went to the PE fields for Aizawa's announcement. Have you all seen the videos I sent to you? Nezu, UA's principal, said to everyone in the room. Every teacher in the room nodded their head or said yes. That Uchiha is in first place, but has 25 rescue points and scored 60 rescue points. A good balance between the two, one of the teachers said. In contrast, that boy injured himself with his quirk. He had the most rescue points out of everyone. That quirk of his is very strange. It's like he just developed it. There's also young Uchiha girl, who recused Uraraka. She seems to show a lot of promise with her brother. There was also that boy with the blue skin. He treated the whole exam as if it were a game. Not to mention that boy with the mask who was second to Midoriya in rescue points. Aizawa couldn't take any more of the boredom and decided to leave. As he was walking, he noticed a boy with blonde hair arguing with the kid with blue skin. How troublesome. A quirk assessment test? The class screamed. What about the orientation? The girl named Uraraka asked Mr. Aizawa. I have only been here for 1 day, and I already hate it. Maybe it was because of the uniforms. Maybe it was the teachers who bossed me around. Or maybe it was the annoying students asking stupid questions. If you're going to become a hero, you don't have time for such leisurely events, Aizawa said blankly. Everyone became silent after he said that. Deidara, however, began to tune out of the boring man's speech and began molding clay in his hands since he was bored. Me and Sasori noticed him starting to create stuff. What are you doing? Sasori said, yelled. Can you make me cat, pretty please? I'm bored, so I might as well make some of my art to keep me company. Deidara said as he just started to work on his masterpiece of a clay cat. You idiot, we're in the middle of class, put it away. Sasori attempted to get him to stop again, anger in your voice. Deidara ignored the red-haired boy as he finished his beautiful creation before handing it to you and starting another one. Deidara, don't ignore me, Sasori said, emphasizing each word. He looked like he was about to punch the blonde in the face. Deidara finally started to speak up. He's not even going to Noti. Hey Blondie. Deidara turned around almost immediately to confront the idiot who would call him that, but immediately paled. It was Aizawa. The teacher used his hand to motion him towards himself. Come here. Everyone stared as Deidara walked over to him. Deidara was also grumbling along the way. You and Kasame were trying not to laugh your asses off. Since you've been ignoring my lecture, you can go first, Aizawa said as he handed him a softball. Go into that circle and throw the ball as far as you can with your quirk. The blonde smirked before taking the ball out of the older male's hand and walking over to the circle. Deidara made his stance before he threw the ball with all his might. The ball flew into the air as Deidara threw this clay owl that he was working on into the air, following after the ball. Deidara made his signature hand sign as the owl expanded in size and began flying towards the ball. Almost there, Deidara thought to himself as his owl got closer. The clay owl got to the softball and swallowed it into its mouth as it continued to fly higher and higher away from the school before obviously making it explode. Some of the students jumping from the loud noise. Impressive, 756 meters. Aizawa said as he showed Deidara and everyone else. Too easy. Now you just need to worry about paying attention in class, Aizawa said as he walked over to the class. Deidara scowled at Aizawa as some of the students giggled at him. We haven't even been here 20 minutes, and you already got in trouble, I comment as he walks over. This is gonna be so fun, a girl with pink skin shouted out. Yeah, I can't wait to use my quirk, a boy with red hair shouted out. Aizawa just gave them all a creepy grin. Now they've done it, Sasori thought to himself. So you think this is fun? You have 3 years to become heroes. Will you have that same attitude forever? Alright, whoever comes in last place in all 8 tests will be judged to have no full potential and will be punished with expulsion. What? Everyone screamed out. It's obviously a bluff. You thought to yourself as you looked over to Itachi and Sasori, who were also looking back at you. But we can't mess around or it's going to be bad news for us. I turned towards Deidara to see him making another damn bird. We're doomed. In Senpai, what if I fail? You'll be fine, Tobai. Last place will be expelled. But it's the first day of school. No, even if it wasn't the first day of school, this is unfair. Uraraka yelled towards Aizawa. Don't you get it? It's completely fair. You said, having gotten annoyed by girls complaining. However, she was shocked that one of her classmates agreed with this. What? How is that fair? She said angrily towards you. Well, you tilted your head at her in confusion. That's the girl with the guys that saved me during the exam. I didn't know she was that type of person to think like that, Midoriya nervously thought to himself as he watched the drama unfold. It's not supposed to be fair. Not everyone here will become a hero, much less a pro. You said in a nonchalant way. Hey, I don't care about these extras, but I sure hell will. A kid with hair that looked like it hadn't been brushed out in years yelled at you. Geez, calm down, you hedgehog. No need to get so pressed when I'm just telling the truth. Great first impression. A kid with a bird head said. Either way, that's not true. Everyone here worked so hard to get into this school, and now Sensei just wants to throw it all away. The girl cried out. You then pointed your finger at Midoriya, which caused him to get nervous. If you continue to believe that you can become a hero, you're a fool. The only thing waiting for people like you is a grave. You said, staring right into Midoriya's soul. You were making an example using Midoriya. Itachi didn't want to say anything but knew you were pushing it. Wow, you sure know how to make a good impression on the first day. Deidara said, amused. Midoriya didn't know what to say until Uraraka did it for him. How? She said, looking down at the ground. You turned towards her again. How could you say that to him? He's the biggest hero out of all of us. He even tried to save me during the exam, she yelled out, her eyes starting to water. Well, that hurt. You thought to yourself because you were the one to save her. Uraraka. Midoriya didn't know what to say. Aizawa finally had enough and began to clean up the situation. I'm sorry, but this is how I run my class. You're in this class to become heroes, not hanging out after school at McDonald's. Aizawa said. If I were to let all of you become heroes, and one of you were to be killed, I couldn't live with myself. Aizawa said to everybody. Moving on then. Welcome to UA's hero course, Aizawa said as he lifted his head up and gave everyone a creepy grin. The real thing starts now. Trail 1. The 50-meter dash. I was up against my boy Kasame. The two of us grin at each other before doing a handshake. Good luck. Even though I already know I'm going to win, I say. The two of us getting ready. Start. I quickly flicker over to the other end of the race. Z2 seons. 3:06 seconds. Nice work, Kasame. You know, without body flickering, I say with a little shrug as we start to walk back towards our classmates. What I'd kill to have your Sharingan right now. You could pass anything as your quirk. I know, right? It's amazing. Beat that, Deidara, I say as we stop in front of our group. HMP. The boy turns his head anyway, a scowl on his face. Wow, senpai, you were so fast. Tobai runs at me to give me a hug, quickly moving out of the way as he falls face first on the ground. Some of our other classmates look at us with worry and some with confusion. Don't worry, guys. He's fine. It happens all the time. I send them a big closed-eyed smile with a thumbs up before turning back to face the other Akatsuki members. I want to sleep. Trail 2. The grip strength test. I gripped the meter as hard as I could, knuckles turning white. Once I heard the beep, I looked down at it and saw I got 236 kgw. Good enough, I guess. Whoa. Looking behind me, I see a guy with weird elbows and a short purple-haired guy. They were gushing over the score that the man with multiple arms got. 540 kilos. What are you, a gorilla? No, you're more of an octopus. Someone say octopus. Hot. You. Definitely staying away from the small guy. Trial 3. The standing long jump. Well, this is going to be easy. It was mine and Itachi's turn. The other 4 already went, and of course they made it far. These tests are super easy, not gonna like. If this is how the academy tested, I would pass with flying colors. Ready, Takai? I say, looking at the older Uchiha. He gave me a nod in response. You're so dry, you know that? I'm gonna give you a whole personality makeover when we get home. I turned to face forward at the sandpit, listening to Itachi groan. I can just imagine him rolling his eyes as I start to laugh. Aizawa yells out to go as the 2 of us jump and make it over the sandpit. Once we were done, I gave the older man a high five before running over to Sasori. Trial 4. Sustained sideways jumps. This time I was against some kid with half white, half red hair. Not gonna lie, it looked pretty cool. Good luck, I say, moving my head slightly to the side to look at the boy. He just nodded at me before focusing back at the front. Geez, Itachi 2-0 once I heard go the 2 of us were off. I finished in 2-3 seconds, the boy finishing in 4:26 seconds. Trial 5. The pitch. I stepped into the circle, Mr. Homeless Man handing me a ball. I was thinking of what to do before deciding to use chakra-enhanced strength to make my throw as high as possible. Taking a breath, I launched the ball into the air. About a minute later, the buzzer thing goes off. Aizawa facing it towards the class. 1,009 meters. What? Those 6 kids are monsters. So manly. I walk back to my spot, feeling a pair of eyes glaring through my skull. Looking over, I see a blonde kid with hair that looks untamed. I look away before rolling my eyes, going to stand next to Deidara. We watch as Uraraka walks into the circle and taking the ball. She throws it up into the air, and about 5 minutes later, the beep goes off. The tired man flipping the screen to face us. Infinity. Holy cow, she go in infinity. Impressive, but no as impressive as my art, of course. Shut up, Deidara. It's obvious my art is better. The 2 partners were about to stop fighting before Itachi stepped in. Let's not get expelled on our first day, or else you know what will happen. A shiver ran up the 5 members' spines just thinking about what would happen if they got expelled on the first day. It would not be good, that's for sure. Next up was Greenie, who nervously walked into the circle taking the ball. Midori is not doing too well, is he? 4 Eyes said, his arms crossed over his chest. Of course not. He's a quirkless fucking guppy. The blonde anger issue kid yelled, pointing at Broccoli Boy. Quirkless? Didn't you see what he did at the entrance exam? Huh. Damn, this kid is taking a long time to throw the damn ball. Will you just hurry up and throw the stupid ball? Deidara yelled. I guess he thought the same thing I did. Shut up, Blondie, Kasama says, looking towards the judgy eyes of Greenie's friends. The boy brought his arm back before throwing the ball. The ball went 46 meters. Now that's disappointing. I erased your quirk. It defies reason. How did somebody like you manage to enter this academy? Aizawa's hair started to float as his eyes glowed red, his scarf floating. You erased it? And those goggles. Oh my god. You must be the hero who can cancel out the quirk of whomever he's looking at. The erasing hero, Eraserhead. Eraser who? Never heard of him. I've just heard the name. He's a really underground hero. From what I observed, you can't rein in your quirk's full power, meaning you can't use it efficiently at all. Did you believe someone would come save you after you crippled yourself again? And no, I didn't. I Jew. Mr. Izawa's scarf wrapped around the boy, pulling him towards himself. The 2 started to talk. Well, it was a more one-sided convo with Aizawa scolding the boy. Nobody could hear what they were saying, which was annoying. I wanted to hear it. Ugh. I gave you back your quirk. Try the ball pitch a second time. Let's get this over with. Are you worried for him? I, for one, don't care. Looks like he's had some coaching before, but he's gonna get expelled for sure. I let out a yawn, tuning out what's around me. Leaning my body against Sasori, who was standing beside me. Sensei. Looking up, I see Greenie with tears in his eyes and a broken finger. I can still move. You finally got a record suitable for a hero. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. Your finger's swollen reminds me of the entrance exam incident. What an odd quirk. Not shit. What type of power hurts you that bad when you use it? What is this, Deku? Explain now, shitrag. The grumpy Pomeranian boy blasted his way towards the poor boy before being stopped by a certain set of strings. Shit's this string? I can't. I don't want to be in class no longer than I have to be. If you're gonna fight, do it on your own time, not mine. The red-haired man says from beside me. Akasuna, let go of Bakugo. We're wasting time. Prepare for the next trial. The last 3 tests went by like a breeze. I almost fell asleep doing sit-ups, but whatever. Time to present the results. The total is simply the aggregate sum of each of your scores. If I recited all your scores, it'd take 1,000,000 years, so I'll disclose them all at once. He projected the screen. Looking at the top, it went. 1. Uchiha Itachi. 2. Uchiha N. 3. Yaoyorozu Momo. 4. Hoshigaki Kazami. 5. Tsukuri Deidara. 6. Todoroki Shoto. 7. Akasuna no Sasori. 8. Tobai. The rest is how it would normally be. Second to Itachi. Not bad, I guess. I just want to take a nap. Looking over to the other students, I noticed the green-haired boy face pale. Looking at the scoreboard, seeing his name at the bottom. Just wait till they find out he lied. Oh yeah, that whole expulsion thing was a lie. Everyone's jaw dropped as I start to laugh my ass off from their faces. It was a logical ruse to pull out your best performances. What? And you knew, and you didn't tell me? Deidara says, hitting the back of my head as I dramatically fall to the ground. Oh, it's not my fault, you're just fucking dumb. Sasori, Itachi, and Kazame figured it out. You're just slow. A look of betrayal crossed over his face. Of course it was a lie. A girl with a big black spiky ponytail says. I thought everyone knew, so I didn't say anything. Sorry. That was so boring, I say as we all walk out of the school. I think we should go get ice cream with Kakuzu's money. That's a good idea in senpai. Let's go. Tobai links his arm with mine as we skip down the path. I wasn't looking as me and Tobai were talking about cats as I bumped into someone's back. Before I could fall back, Tobai was able to catch me, pulling me back up. And watch where you're going next time. You could get hurt, Itachi says, coming up behind me, putting a hand on my back. Yay, dipshit. I knew you had a pea brain, but I didn't realize you were that dumb, Deidara adds on. The two of us start to bicker as everyone around us sweat drops at the situation. Itachi turns back around to see that I dumped into Midoriya. Sorry for that. Intends to not pay attention at times, and Tobai with her doesn't help, he says, offering a smile towards the 3 of them. It's no problem at all. Well, have a good day. See you 3 tomorrow. Itachi says, as he drags me and Deidara to start walking. The other 3 following behind, with Tobai trying to get us to stop fighting. So how does our teacher's quirk work? Itachi asks. Tobai and I were skipping up ahead, arms interlinked and holding ice cream cones in our hands. Oh well, you saw how his eyes were red, right? Basically, his quirk works if he stares at you, causing your quirk to disappear. Once he blinks, your quirk returns. In battle, though, he wears goggles so his opponents can't see his eyes. So we have to make sure if he uses it on us, we pretend to deactivate whatever jutsu we're using, or he'll figure us out. Correct. Also, he's expelled 154 students. So don't be making scenes or Pain's gonna suo kill you. I add on as we almost made it back to the base. So it's like you and Itachi. The second you stare into his eyes, it's too late. Sasori says. A smirk makes its way onto Deidara's face. Well, Itachi, we found another freak from your clan. You gonna kill him too, HM? Deidara says, crossing his arms over his chest. Are you saying I'm a freak, Deidara? I turn to look at the blonde, a over-exaggerate hurt expression on my face. I see how it is. You don't love me. I make fake tears well up in my eyes. Look what you did, Deidara. You made a child cry. This is why your art sucks. Not cool, Deidara-senpai. Not cool. The blonde stood there, dumbstruck as the other 4 members surrounded me. Tobai gave me a bone-crushing hug as I looked over his shoulder and sent Deidara a smirk before turning back around and put the act back up. Deidara stood there for another minute before he started yelling and chasing after me. I sprinted down the street as everyone else followed. Get back here, you fucking rat. Alright, class, tell me where the mistake is in this next sentence example. Everyone was basically zoned out or groaning from having to do this. Who knows the answer? Everybody hands up and raise them high. The man with weird banana hair yells, throwing his fist up in the air. I groan before slamming my forehead on my desk. About 10 minutes later, the bell went off, signaling that it was time for lunch. I quickly stand up and turn my upper body to the right, hearing a crack before doing the same to the other side. Finally, I'm starving. I whine as me and rest of the Akatsukis walk out of the classroom and towards the cafeteria. You're always hungry. This is why you're fat. You ho. Everyone was now sitting at their desks, chatting with others as we waited for our teacher to arrive. I'm coming through the door. The door slams open as a big bulky man holds onto the sides of the door, leaning forwards, like a normal person. I raise my eyebrow well looking at him up and down. What's with his eyes? They're like not there, I think to myself as most of the class starts screaming. I can't believe it. All Might's really gonna be teaching us. That's his Silver Age costume. That art style clashes so much it's giving me goosebumps. The blonde hero walks to the front of the class, turning his back to us as he starts to talk. Foundational Hero Studies. For this class, we'll be building up your hero foundation through curious trails. Let's jump right in with this. Turning to face us, he pulls out a card that reads Battle. The Trial of Battle. I'm totally going to beat you up, Deidara whispers, a smirk on his face. Not if I don't beat you up first, Blondie. Deidara, shut up and listen. Sasori hisses at the 2 of us before turning back to the front. Okay, you furry, I mutter under my breath. And to go with your first battle. All Might press a button as the side of the wall pop out. We've prepared the gear we had you send in requests for to match your quirks. Our battle gear. Awesome. Everybody stands up to go find their suitcase from the wall. Walking over, I quickly grab mine and move towards the door. Get changed, and we'll be ready to go. Everyone gather at Grounds B. The grab you bring into the battlefield is vitally important, boys and girls. I hear All Might as I walk out of the room and towards the change rooms. Now this is awkward. I think to myself, looking in between the 6 others in the room. Kisame, Itachi, Sasori, Deidara, Tobai, and me apparently change faster than all the other losers in this class, so now we're stuck in a room with All Might while we wait. Our hero costumes were our shinobi outfits from under our clocks, but Yua designed Tobai has the purple robe that he wears later in the show the orange mask. After a couple more silent and awkward minutes of waiting, the rest of the class slowly started to fill into the room. Looking good is very important. Ladies and gentlemen, look alive now, because from today on, you're all heroes. All Might yells once basically everyone is in the room. Well, shall we begin, my wards? It's time for battle training. We're all here then, looking good. Sensei. This appears to be the same field used in the entrance exam. Will we once again be performing cityscape maneuvers? I'm guessing that's 4 eyes talking in that big suit. Won't that just make his quirk harder to use? If he had something lighter, he would be able to move around faster. Nope. You'll be moving on to step 2. Indoor anti-personnel battle training. The smile on the buff man's face seemed to grow even bigger. Villain battles are most commonly seen outdoors. But statistically, the most heinous villains are more likely to appear indoors. Between confinement, house arrest, and black market deals. In this hero-filled society of ours, the cleverest villains out there lurk indoors. You'll now be split into villain teams and hero teams and face off in 2-on-2 indoor battles. So no basic training. Practical experience teaches you the basics. The distinction here is that you won't be fighting disposable robots. What determines victory? Can I just blast everyone away? Are you threatening to expel someone, like Aizawa-sensei did? How do we proceed to divide ourselves into teams? How fabulous is my cape? Naruto definitely would have fit in here with his big mouth. One at a time. My quirk isn't super hearing. All Might grabs a little paper and starts to read from it. Listen up. Here's the deal. The villains will be hiding a nuclear weapon in the hideout. And the heroes have to go in and take care of it. The heroes have a limited amount of time to either capture the villains or secure the weapon. The villains must either capture the heroes or protect the weapon until time is up. Your battle partners will be decided by drawing lots, he says, turning around with a box that says lots on it. Is that really the best way? 4 questions. Seriously, does he have to question everything? Makes sense. Because pros often have to team up with heroes from other agencies on the spot during emergencies. Greeny says, one finger in the air, making him look like this. I see. I apologize for getting ahead of myself. My mistake. It's fine. Let's just get to it. Oh, and I forgot to mention. There will be 2 groups of 3 because of the uneven number of teams. Everyone moves up to grab a paper from the box, unfolding the paper to reveal the letter D on it. Looking around, I head towards the spot I was supposed to stand based off your team. Ah, Uchiha, it seems we're on the same team, Ida says while walking over. I glance down at his paper before nodding my head. Just call me in man, I say, moving to lean against the wall behind me. My apologies. Are you extras done talking? You better not hold me back in this fight. Well, great. Looking over, I see the blondie too was stomping his way over with giant ass things around his arms before my attention was turned back towards All Might, who was pulling the first 2 teams. Moving on, first up are these. He pulls out 2 balls with the letters A and D. The heroes are Team A. The villains are Team D. While this keeps getting better, attaches on that team. We're doomed. Everyone was sitting in the meeting room in our base house thing. I changed earlier into some normal cloths from this world, a pair of sweatpants and a hoodie. Honestly, I wanted to take a nap right now, but apparently we had to attend the stupid meeting. Everyone was chatting as we waited for Pain and Conan to show up. I laid my head down onto the table, my hood over my head as I let out a yawn. Are you gonna fall asleep? It's only 6:30. That's like a baby's bedtime, Hidden says, placing his head in the palm of his hand. And you wonder why you haven't felt a woman's touch other than your mother's. Why you little fight or flight mode started ringing in my head as I see Hidden pull his scythe out of his ass. The flight option was looking super nice right now. Let's have this meeting commence, saved by my beautiful father, not father, I love you. Hidden put the scythe away. Pain says, looking towards the 2 of us. I relax back into my chair with a smirk before I stick my tongue out at the Jashin worshipper. He scowls back at me before sitting back down. I took my phone out from my pocket and opened this new app I found called TikTok. I was only listening to some things since the others would probably listen. This group that Jern is trying to recruit Hidden and Ion plans to invade you in the near weeks. They're trying to collect as many villains as possible. Doesn't matter if they're weak or not. Basically, they want quantity over quality. Alwa, this kitty is so cutie, I coo in my head as I stare at a cute cat video. after the two of you left in and I stayed around a little longer. A portal man showed up, and we're talking about someone they refer to young master. The two think that the young master's plan will turn out to be a failure. Zetsu stats. This guy is hot ass, I think. Liking the video, then favoriting it before putting it into a collection. This guy sounds like an idiot, Kisame comments. Jiren was also hired to pick up more powerful villains for a plan B. Other than that, we know nothing else. The tree man continues ignoring the comment Kisame made. Damn, maybe I'll make this later. I save a video into my food collection, knowing damn well I'm never going to make it. So why do they want to invade and attack a bunch of teenagers? Deidara asks, putting his arms behind his head. Beats me. Probably some idiot that thinks he can rule the world. Revenge, maybe. You all are incorrect. Excuse me? Can these oldies stop yappin', I think? Looking up from my phone before going back to the TikTok addiction. Itachi's correct. Yeah, right. Although it hasn't been announced to the public, All Might is starting to teach there this year. Based off the acceptance letter Deidara got where All Might explained how he'll be working at UA, this makes you a huge target for villains that wish to take the number one hero down. Itachi says, a cold expression on his face. This is all hurting my brain. I just want to go to bed. So this guy wants to kill All Might too? Looks like we have a problem. Are you paying attention? This information is important. Pain says, looking like a dad scolding his child when they're doing math homework together. Interrupting the conversation happening, everyone turning to look at as I stare at my phone. The same sound replaying over and over again. No, I'm watching this TikTok of this hot guy. Wanna see? No thanks. Definitely not. Knowing your taste, he's either super ugly or is some Pisco killer. Aren't we considered Pisco killers? Couldn't be hotter than me. You know what? Just keep doing whatever you're doing. I would rather not be enlightened on the topic, Pain says, pinching the bridge of his nose. Continue where we were. We still don't have an idea on what day they're invading. Well, I was able to obtain the Class 1 schedule along with all the teachers. Orochimaru speaks up after staying silent. I knew it was too good to be true that he could stay quiet the whole time. In about 2 days' time, your class will be attending the Unforeseen Simulation Joint, or known as the USG. You'll be using this to practice rescue training while being supervised by All Might, Eraserhead, and the Space Hero. 13. The USJ also happens to be an enclosed space with only one entrance, in or out. And when you add all that up, blah blah blah, they want a huge bloodbath. What should we do then? When the day comes, I trust the 6 of you will be able to handle yourselves. However, in case of a problem caused by limitations, Kakuzu and Hidden will be attended the invasion to be of aid if necessary. And Zetsu, I want you to watch over all the students and gain an understanding of their abilities, and if any could be of asset to our organization, Pain says, looking at each one of us. I also wish for you to speak to Jiren about me meeting this young master before the invasion. Understood. Of course, Pain-sama. Cool. Do not fail. Meeting over. The villain team goes in first. The timer starts in 5 minutes, when the hero team sneaks in. The rest of us will watch via CCTV. All Might turns to face the group of us getting ready to leave. Uchiha, Ida, Bakugo. You boys and girl need to adopt a villain mindset. This is practical experience, so go all out. Don't hold back. I'm so going to punch them through a wall, though I will stop you if you take things too far. Boo! My group starts to walk to the other building as Boom Boom Boy trailed behind us. After a bit of walking, we finally made it to the room and placed the fake bomb. Training or not, assuming the role of villain pains me. So we merely have to guard this? Ida questions, knocking his fist against the fake weapon. Hey. So Deku has a quirk? Blondie questions. His eyes trailed to the ground. Who the fuck is Deku? I ask. Looking between the two boys, both of them ignoring me though. Rude. You saw his monstrous strength. No. Although it puts him at great risk. I'll ask you not to charge straight at Midoriya. Oh, we're talking about Greenie. That damned nerd. That's one ugly face he's making right now, I think to myself with a sigh before speaking up again. You better not walk into this fight with that two-eyed freak. Ida looks at me with a questioning gaze as Hedgehoggy whips his head around to look at me with a glare. What the hell did you just say, extra? He starts to stomp over to me before grabbing the collar of my shirt. You heard me right. If you go in there guns and blazing all over Green Bean, you'll totally get your ass whopped by my brother. He's not the one to lose something like this, so man up and get over this stupid grudge you have. I send him a glare of my own as we stay in that position for a few seconds before he pushes me harshly, grumbling under his breath and stomping to the overside of the room. The building blueprints. Better memorize these. Midoriya mutters as they scan over the paper. Itachi quickly activates his Sharingan and scans the paper before deactivating it. There's no punishment for failure like with Aizawa-sensei, so I'm not too worried. Uraraka says, a closed-eyed smile on her face. But you look really worried. Well, I mean, we're up against Kaken. Ida and Uchiha, in too. We just better be on guard. Midoriya says, shaking a bit. Bakugo's the one who bullies you, right? Uraraka questions, as Itachi perks up at the question. The Uchiha's starting to listen closely. He may be a jerk, but he's amazing. His goals, his confidence, his strength, his quirk. He's stronger than me in every way. But that's why I don't want to lose to him. So you're like his fated rival, or whatever. Ah, sorry. I'm sure I'm boring you with all this. Not at all, we're a team. Come on. I don't wish to ruin the moment. Itachi speaks up as the two teens' face look at him, faces turning red. I would suggest to stay clear of my sister. Both of them look at Itachi with furrowed brows. How why? From what I've observed, much like Bakugo, In is ruthless. She'll stop at nothing to win, the only difference is she doesn't charge into stuff head-on. Our quirk, the Sharingan, allows us to be able to read people's movements before they've been done and copy them exactly. This gives her a big advantage, so let me deal with her. Whoa, you two could for sure become top pros with quicks like that. Midoriya exclaims as he starts fangirling over it. Indoor anti-personnel battle training. A loud voice plays over the speakers all across the area. Start. As soon as the announcement that the training started, Pomeranian Boy ran out of the room. Groaning to myself, I turned to face Ida. Sorry dude, but could you watch this well? I do make sure that Dum Dum doesn't ruin everything. Thanks, bye, I say, sprinting out of the room before going up onto the ceiling and running on there. I heard a big explosion go off as I run quicker towards the source to find Greenie and Pink Cheeks, but no Itachi. Shit, I mumble under my breath. He grazed me. You okay, Uraraka? Yeah, thanks. He came out of nowhere. Nice dodging, Deku. I kick him through a wall before swinging myself towards him. Stop trying to murder him and get your job down so we can win this shit. If we fail because of you, I swear to God. Shut the fuck up. Who do you think you are, extra? You're in my way. You know what, get captured then and loss. I push him back towards the hole before body flickering away to the floor under the bomb. I try to sense around for Itachi's chakra, but I couldn't sense anything. Sighing, I quickly body flicker back up to the room with Ida. 4 eyes, he looks up at me with furrowed brows. I'm going to put these around the room. They'll explode and alert me if anyone comes into this room. I'll be here in 5 seconds at most when that does happen, so try and not set them off, I say, waving around a paper bomb before sticking them all around the room. Are you sure that's safe to have these? Ida questions as I stick some to the fake bomb as well. Yeah, don't worry. These aren't that powerful. They'll probably just make them shit their pants. Oh. I watch as Bakugo comes back through the hole in the wall and charges as Midoriya. I'll mess you up just enough not to be disqualified. the blonde yells, about to explode Midoriya's face before he grabs Bakugo by the arm. Nice. What a pro move. Erg. Using all his strength, Midoriya slams Bakugo on his back. Kaken. You almost always lead with that right hook. Bakugo slowly sits up, kneeling on the ground. I've seen it enough to know. You see, I've analyzed heroes I think are awesome. In that notebook of mine. The one you blew up and chucked out the window. Midoriya yells, panting as Bakugo sends him a glare. I body flicker behind Uraraka as the two boys kept fighting. Eek, don't scare me like that, Itachi, she whisper yells. Apologizes. I've located the bomb. Really, where? 5th floor, in the center room. If you go up the staircase right up ahead, turn right, 3rd door on the right. I want you to go and try to capture the weapon. But be careful. And covered the room with paper bombs and Ida is guarding it. Touch one and you're out. She swallows nervously before glancing at Midoriya and Bakugo fighting. Don't worry, he'll be fine. All you have to worry about is Ida. Like I said, I'll take care of it. Looking back at me, she nods her head before dashing off towards the stairs I mentioned earlier. In is definitely more powerful than me in this state. 10 minutes left. If I play my cards right, we can win this. I was walking around still trying to sense the older Uchiha, listening to the loud booms coming from the other floor. Hey Bakugo, in. Update me on the situation. What's happening? Ida says over the earpiece. Shut up and keep watch. I'm ready to wreck someone. Don't let your emotions get the better of you, hey? He cut his transceiver. What a scoundrel. I sigh at Bakugo's stupidity. In, are you there? Yeah, hi. What's your plan since Bakugo clearly has gone off and done his own thing? Well, Greenie is stuck in a fight with the blonde dog, so that's one off our list, which leaves Itachi and Pink Cheeks. Itachi will definitely send her towards you. But that's okay because of the paper bombs I set up. All you have to do is make sure she doesn't touch the open points on the bomb. Well, you do that, I'm going to make somehow capture Itachi. I hear footsteps running up the stairs as Ida starts yapping about something. Quickly running over and hide behind the wall closest to the stairs. Looking slightly behind the corner, I see Pink Cheeks running up the stairs. I focus the chakra in my feet before walking up the walls and onto the ceilings. Grab the capture tap from my pouch. I waited until the girl was standing under me, before silently jumping down behind her and taping her arm. Uraraka has been captured. Huh? What? She whips her head around and locks eyes with me. What's up? I give the girl a smirk. Anyways, gotta bounce, see ya. I dash away before she can say anything, heading towards the room with the bomb. If Itachi knows the location of the room, he'll definitely head there since she's no captured and green bean in fighting that freak. Unless, no, he wouldn't try to send that kid up and continue fighting Bakugo. You know what? Whatever, as long as I protect that weapon, we're all good. I think to myself as I stop outside the room before body flicking inside and into a spot with no paper bombs. Robot dude, has anything weird happened since I left? Robot dude? No, not that I've noticed of. Okay, all we have to worry about is Itachi at the moment since I captured Rosy Cheeks. He'll definitely try to come up here and capture the weapon. But there's a small chance he'll send Broccoli Boy up here instead and continue fighting Pom Pom Boy himself. But that would be a dumb move on his part since both of us are guarding the weapon. Greenie doesn't stand a chance, as well as Boom Boom Boy wouldn't let him leave if he tried. And knowing my brother, he doesn't make dumb mistakes, so our best bet is to assume he's thinking of the first option. The two of stand there for a minute before Ida speaks up. And that was truly amazing. It's like you've been in a real battle before. It's just simple battle strategy analyzing. Yeah, I've killed too many people to count. Whoopies. Bakugo has a natural tendency towards troublemaking, so this exercise is perfectly suited to him. Humph. I suppose we must also take on the role of a villain. Though it brings shame to the Ida family name, this training will help me become a better man. I must commit. I could sense a small amount of chakra outside the room, eyes widening, To become a hero, I will cloak myself in darkness. I am the ultimate evil. Ida, shut up for a sec. I wave my hand in his face while trying to hear outside the room. Listening carefully, I hear the squeak of one floor tile outside. Turning around, I quickly jump on top of Weapon in case he decides to body flicker and take the easy way out. Ida stares at me with a questioning gaze as I point to the door of the room. He carefully steps back towards the weapon guarding the front. Taking a breath, I attempt the crow clone jutsu that Itachi taught me, not having fully mastered it, but it will do for now. Replacing myself with the clone, I body flicker behind one of the pillars in the room. After about a minute, I could sense a clone attaches clone in the room, the back corner of the room, having my clone send a kunai right at it and through the stomach. What are you doing? Ida questions in panic, taking a careful step forward to avoid the paper bombs. A gasp of shock could be heard as the clone transformed into crows, the bird flying around the room. Suddenly, I felt pressure on my side. Before I could tell what was happening, I was pushed through the pillar behind me. Did she just stab him? Horrified looks were shared around the room as the kunai was stabbed through Itachi's body. Just watch, you idiots, Deidara basically yells before turning back to the screen. Itachi's body turning into crows that started to fly around the room. Maybe don't assume things before you know what's really happening, and you don't know how their quirks work. Sasori adds, glaring at the class. Well, to be fair, that did look pretty bad. A boy with a lightning bolt in his hair says, a tremble in his voice as the glare was directed at him. You see their red eyes? It's called the Sharingan. It gives them the ability to see the energy flow through someone. But if it's a clone, its energy flow would obviously be different. It also allows them predict their opponent's movements and then perfectly copy and mimic the techniques. So she wouldn't purposely kill her brother, you morons, Kasama argues, staring at the screen as everyone turns their attention back onto the screen as Yuin gets punched through a pillar and onto the other side of the room.